And mine's going. Is yours going?
Yes.
All right, so one. On the count of three. On three, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. No, we gotta do it better. Okay. Hi everybody, I'm Rosie from Teeny Tinkers.
And I'm Pablo from Hopeful Creations.
And you are watching Unhinged, a Dolly Chat podcast.
Way!
And please keep in mind that this is our very first go at a podcast, so if it's a little rough and rocky, just bear with us for the time being. So, what's our topic for today, Pablo?
We are going to talk about how our collection changed over the years, what we collected then and when we started, and what we collect now, what we look into the dolls and stuff, and the artists and everything.
And while we do that, I'm going to redress these two dolls that are just sitting here sad and naked.
I'm going to be styling these 2 weeks of kits I have to send today or tomorrow, so everybody knows that I'm working.
Oh my god. Oh, I mean, like, I don't know if this qualifies as me working, but this is me working.
I mean, it's a full-time job.
Also, what do you think about my beautiful lighting situation?
I like it. I mean, I knew you were going to be fancy with the lighting and the mics and everything.
You know what's extra fancy though?
What?
My main light is actually a sad lamp.
A
Do you know what that is?
No.
Like they're like a UV kind of light, I think, but it's for like seasonal affective disorder. It's not UV though, so don't worry about my dolls. I'm not just sitting here with like UV light blasting on them. Oh my! Can you imagine? Now
like you getting about your dolls before yourself. That's like another level.
Oh my god, that's funny. Okay, so I guess we can start about talking about our collections. I mean, I started collecting like 5 or 6 years ago, like really collecting dolls. And yeah, my tastes and like how I collect have definitely changed.
Yeah, I think we all, when we started collecting, we all wanted to fit in and get things that maybe could grow our Instagrams, or maybe like we could relate to other people, because we have to say it's not easy to memorize everything that's in the wild. First of all, it took me a really long time to differentiate between Minifee or Lilycat or Bimong or whatever. I'm talking big names right now, but like that took years of myself to learn and know what they were talking about.
Yeah, for me, I think it was less about what I thought people, like other people, not saying that's what you were collecting for, but like what other people might like. And I was definitely collecting based on what I knew existed, because I didn't know about all of these small artists over on Instagram, which is primarily where I find dolls and like artists to collect from now. But I was able to go to pages like Denver Doll Emporium or like Alice's collections. And like basically what I liked from Alice's collections for a while was what I collected. So early on, I had a lot of things like Gem of Doll, I had like Doll Chateau, I had Doll Zone. I really liked Doll Zone for a while. But that was primarily like Alice's collections basically dictated what I bought and like the resin tones I had access to and all of that. So
I mean, I feel like that was also what everybody was doing at the time. And I think we came to the hobby when the rise of the small artists was starting. So, of course, what we saw because at the time, Facebook was still a thing. Don't forget that. Of course, what we collected was what everyone else was collecting, and the small artists were not a thing. Like,
no, I agree. When you said Facebook, I was like, oh yeah, Facebook Marketplace also dictated what I bought, because it would be like, I would discover dolls through the Facebook, like the buy and sell pages.
I think also I don't collect so many secondhand dolls right now.
No, me either.
And I used to be I used to be hard on secondhand dolls. And I used to be hard on trying to find cheap dolls and making them over.
Yeah.
That was a good time. But now, like, it's not the vibe, you know?
Yeah, that was a big thing for me for a long time too. Is like I remember I got like a secondhand doll zone body, and then I got like a doll legend practice head, and I dyed them, and that was Lola,
Yeah.
and I had Lola for a while, and it was like, yeah, like Mystic Kids, like it was like dolls that were like $125, $200, like maybe $200. That felt like a splurge at the time.
Exactly. Because
which,
I think...
like it's still a lot of money, definitely, but like my perspective has changed a lot on what an expensive doll is.
I think we also wanted more, and now we want just enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we both have lived having a really big collection, and we now
Working
know
on it.
that it's not... I mean,
Working on
you
it.
have way more than me, but, you know. But the thing is, I think we know how high maintenance is to have a really big collection and how much room it takes.
Yeah.
And that you, at the end of the day, you cannot spend so much time with so many dolls.
Yeah. Like, when I think back, like, I mean, I have as many dolls, like, in my collection, like, that were not made by me, as I did in my earlier days. Like, I'm looking over at my collection wall, and there's, like, I think there's 18 staying dolls right now. But a lot of them are smaller. I have some small dolls from you. I have, like little quartz star doll. I have, like, a bunch of mini dolls. And I'm really happy about having that size because I can, like, own a piece of art that I really love, but, you know, it's on the...
Yeah, I do remember when you started collecting these tiny dolls and you ended up with, like, a huge collection now. Every time that you show, like places in your studio, I'm so amazed about the little one, and it's like, I saw her collecting her first one, you know? I saw her. I know that girl.
I know her.
I know her.
But, yeah, like, I mean, my collection early on, when I think back, I remember, because it's hard to remember, because I, for a long time, was very much like I think revolving door collector is like what they call people who like get dolls in for a little bit, keep them for a little bit, and then like send them back out into the wild, like if they don't super bond with them or super like fall in love with a specific doll. So it's hard to remember all the dolls I've had. I mean, if anybody wants to check out my past YouTube videos, I mean, that's a pretty good indicator of every doll I've ever had ever. But there's a lot. But it was like sometimes mini fees, sometimes like basically like what we would call company dolls, I think.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And like everybody was pale. Everybody was like a big-eyed white girl. Like that was just every doll. And I'm so glad that that's not my collection now. Although if that's your collection.
Yeah, of course. Also, those are cheaper. So it makes sense. Because for some reason, these houses have not been able to find the recipe to balance the prices between different skin tones. But anyways, that's another podcast discussion. No.
It's true.
So I think we also came to be more selective because we know what it's like for, let's say, a small artist to see their doll to be sold. Once someone got it, it's like, oh, like I feel like we also felt it in a way.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely. So like, I mean, my collection right now, the basic qualifier, like what says if I'm going to have a doll or not have a doll, at least what I'm really trying to stick to now, is like, did my friend make this doll? Did an artist that like I've been following for a really long time, that I've watched them kind of like come into their own in doll making? And then also, was I gifted this doll? Because I am very lucky to have been gifted a few dolls now. Very grateful, thank you, to people who have gifted me dolls. But like those are dolls that I would not sell and that will live in my collection forever and ever. But besides that,
I think at the end of the day, we're looking for something more than a cute doll.
mm-hmm.
No, we look for what is the initiative and what is the purpose of the artist, what they're trying to make. Kind of like I think at the end we collect dolls from people that do something similar to us, in a way, you know.
Yeah, I definitely have more of an emotional connection to my dolls than I used to. Like, I used to just be like, that one's cute, and then I would, like... The other thing I used to do is give them all names and backstories. Like, this is, like...
Oh my god, I remember having highlighted stories for all my dolls, and there was a time I was like, let me get rid of this, because my Instagram is getting...
Chaotic.
Like, chaotic, exactly.
Yeah, it was a lot. Because I did that too, and then I tried to just compile them all into like a single story, and then it was like 10 years long, and I don't even name my collection dolls anymore. They just keep the sculpt name, and that's
exactly. I think we had many conversations about that. It's like it's too much hassle to put a name into each one. Also, the thing is, sometimes people put names that are cute, so like, why would you like?
Yeah, sometimes the name is perfect for them anyways. Like, I mean, like, in my opinion, I'm sure it's always perfect for the artist because they, like, take the time to give a name that they feel suits the doll. And, like, in a lot of cases, like, they are spot on. Like, they've got it. So, like, I don't see any issue. Unless you have multiple of the same sculpt, really. In,
Exactly.
Having the same name. She's bald.
Oh, his baby.
Yes.
I remember I was so envious when you got that ball jointed set.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Ball jointed on my set. I was like, she got it. I have no money.
Well, they sell fast too, so.
So, I think about clothing, for example. How do you think your style have changed through the years?
So my clothing
and wigs
style.
also.
So for clothing, the clothing I used to purchase for my dolls was, again, kind of like how I used to collect dolls, very subject to like availability, what was around, what I saw on Alice's collections, and then what I saw on Etsy and what I thought might fit, and also what was a good price.
Exactly.
Like my favorite, I think, the ones I would still recommend to people are ball jointed soulmates. I recommend cotton honey a lot too. I really love cotton honey. But, and Taobao, but Taobao betrayed me, and now you can't pay for shipping unless you have a Chinese bank account, so I can't use Taobao anymore, but, you know, that's...
I mean, you can always do a Chinese bank account.
Yeah, let me just move to China and set that up. Like, no problem. What could go wrong? Oh my gosh. But, and it used to be, like, a lot more... Yeah, because it was like whatever was around, so it was kind of like more of an Instagram-y type style, like stuff you'd see at like a Forever 21. That was very much like the clothes, because that was what was popular, so that's what Etsy sellers were making.
Yeah.
So like now I think first of all, I make a lot of my own clothes because I would not be able to find the kind of clothes that I want. I also have clothes come like through my like craft exchange I do, and people make me the most like personalized little outfits that are very like to my taste. It's very like dopamine dressing meets like fairy key meets like J fashion. Like there's a lot going on now, but it's a lot of color. Like a lot. And how about you? What do you think about like the way you used to dress your dolls versus the way you do now?
So the thing is, for me, I think I've always dressed my dolls in in this kind of casual style. I know when I started in the hobby, there were a lot of people that liked this kind of style that was medieval or was like industry. I don't know the names in English exactly, but you know, very video game like. But I've always liked the casual, the everyday life of a girl, of a teenager, of a woman, or whatever. I I don't know. And it's always the thing is, I used to like to make all my dolls into really edgy styles and stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And I see that exactly, and I see that over time my collection has become more sweet, which is really funny because every time I used to make a sweet doll, previous to when I started doing my own dolls, all the sweet dolls and anime dolls and stuff used to were the first ones I sold. So
Yeah. Yeah, I did that too. But yeah, it's just very like it's very different. I remember when your dolls all kind of had that look. I also know that you don't like to dress your dolls as often as I do.
I hate it.
So you don't need as much clothes as I do, and I mean, do I really need this many clothes? Probably. It's a bit obscene, but I keep making things, so.
But I have to say, I in my hobby life, I've sold many things, and I've never sold a piece of clothing. Never. I keep all of them because at the end, every time I end up using them on other doll, or I end up getting other doll that fits that style. Like I have all of your craft exchange clothes. I have all of my ball jointed, my rose and rod, everything I keep because you never know when you're going to use it, And then when you want to get it again, maybe it's more expensive or you have to pay for shipping.
Oh yeah, that's always a bummer. I mean, like for me, like I just like to make things. So I mean, like if I kept all the clothes I made, it would be obscene. Like it would be like I would have like one of those big like Tupperware bins, like the 80-liter ones, like the huge ones full of doll clothes.
You actually have some of those for some things, I think.
I have like small Tupperware things for some of my clothes, but and I try and keep them sorted by like type, so I'll put like all the shirts in one, dresses in another one. The only thing I don't really sell is shoes because like there are not enough shoes in the world. But
I have all of these super disorganized.
Great. Oh my gosh, the like doom bin of shoes.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, the skirt is way too short. Like there's like
So the thing is, and I saw that the other day.
Oh my god, her butt cheeks.
Dressing my
like
you can always put her some shorts.
Yeah, I could.
Like super shorts. I got my prototype hollow into one of the pieces that you gifted me for the Christmas exchange. That was super short. I mean, I guess it wasn't meant for her, but I ended up using it. And she looks so good with her long legs.
Ooh, I've got these shorts.
So
I don't know if they'll fit her. Yeah, it's she has very long legs. Hollow, but yeah, there's been a lot of differences in like the types of clothes I make, and I do think one thing that I need to do in the future, kind of tying back, oh my gosh, way too tight. Something I have to do in the future is have different styles of clothes and wigs, because my own personal style for my dolls is so often this like pastel, bright, cutesy, but like some of my dolls are more mature, and I need more mature clothes for them and more mature hair for them. Not everything can be like a pastel pink space buns look. Like, I mean, as cute as that is, but like it does get very repetitive.
You know what's so funny? Every time you've tried to go for a more mature look, you always end up doing pastel again.
Well, maybe they can be pastel and mature, okay? Maybe it's like the best of both worlds moment.
Okay.
I mean, like, the thing is, I mean, like, I either dress all in black or all in, like, cutesy clothes. I mean, I'm kind of both today. Like, I've got both looks going today. But, so my dolls, like, tend to wear the same kind of things I would wear if I could buy this for me, I would buy this for me. This, like, pastel color block.
I mean...
Oh my gosh.
So, have you seen a difference between prices over the years? Like, do you think, for example, houses have increased their prices because of inflation, or do you think that small artists started low and then went big? Because we have seen a lot of small artist dolls going really high. So
I think like
what do you think in that sense?
So I think like I know like personally, like cost of goods is up. I think in some cases, like I remember Hollow's first pre-order, she was 475 USD. I didn't make a lot of money off her, and it was pre-COVID. So like my cost to make dolls has gone up. And I'm sure the same is for a lot of artists. Like there's like cost of living crisis like pretty much everywhere, I think. It's like really bad here in Canada though. Like I think most like I don't know. Most people I think the average is like here $35,000, $45,000 a year maybe, but like rent, like to rent a 2-bedroom apartment would be like $2,500 a month. Like it's super expensive. And so like when you think about your cost to like have a workspace, your cost to have like all the equipment you need, all the sanding stuff, like resin, like all of that has gone up. So it makes sense to me that small artist dolls would go up a bit. I've been like trying so hard to keep my price at $525. And I know other artists are trying to try to keep their prices stable because it does feel stressful to like have pre-orders and see people like, oh my god, the prices are going up, and it's like, yeah, but it's because I need to afford food. You know what I mean? Like it's like I need.
And also,
yeah, no, go ahead.
I feel like, based on my experience, all of us, the small artists that started as small artists, and of course they still are, maybe started this as a hobby, and as time goes, we're trying to make a living. So it's normal for us to demand a little bit more just to have those expenses paid.
Yeah. I mean, like, and as far as like dolls I'm collecting, I used to, like I said, I used to buy a lot of company dolls. And company dolls have, by some magic, I think because they do their casting in-house, they're able to keep their pricing, like, a lot lower, I think, or...
Exactly.
God, I wish I could do my own casting in-house, but, like, the amount of effort and time that would take, anyways. But I think, like, their prices have stayed more consistent, I think. I don't... Like I said, I'm not really buying company dolls anymore, but... even, like, as far as, like, what I'll pay for an artist doll these days, like, if it's an MSD-sized doll, I fully expect to pay anywhere from $450 to $700.
Yeah.
When it starts going into the 800 or 900 range, that's fully fine, but I'm going to be a lot more hesitant to drop that kind of money. Just as, on a collector note, I just, like... I mean, the other thing is, like, I am an artist, and my income is, like, I'm not a rocket scientist, obviously, so I'm not able to just, like, have hundreds of thousands of dollars every year to spend on dolls. So.
Yeah, for example, I remember, and I think I've talked to you about this sometimes, that I miss the times that I could use hobby money in hobby.
Same.
It's like... I would have so many dolls by now.
Like, my hobby money now, like, because my hobby is, like, my job. So my hobby money is basically what funds any collection I do or anything. And it's like, but it also has to fund when I need to fix my printer. And it needs to fund, like, sewing machines or, like, camera equipment or, like, whatever. It needs to fund, like, my whole, like, doll business. So... And the other thing, too, I think, is first of all, a couple things. Since making my own dolls, it's very much like I have a wall of my own dolls. And I don't, first of all, have the space for a ton of collection dolls because my own dolls are also my collection. So, like, limited space. But also, like, if I'm going to reach for a doll to play with, it's probably going to be one of my own sculpts.
Exactly.
So like this right now, like in the past, I would be doing doll dress ups with like collection dolls, and I rarely do that now. So now it's mostly like dressing my own dolls, probably because I'm going to take photos of them later or like whatever it is. But yeah, it's just like the time, energy, and space just stops me from having all of these like collection dolls or like, you know.
So I definitely feel the same way. I feel like the dolls I buy now from other artists have become more of like collectibles rather than dolls to
Yes.
play.
I dress them and put them, like, I'll take pictures of them and stuff sometimes, but they mostly, like, I think of them as, like, I collect dolls now, in a way that I didn't, and I think the main difference is that when I used to collect dolls, I was collecting dolls to play with, to give little stories to make interact, and when I collect dolls now, it's nostalgia, or not nostalgia, it's, like emotional connection to the artist, but it's also like inspiration. Like it like inspires me to work harder or to do that like by having like a section of my office dedicated to like my friends' dolls or like small artist dolls, because it's like, man, they're doing the thing too. Like you can keep doing the thing. Like it's so, I don't know, it's motivating and like
Exactly. Something like, for example, for me, something that really motivated me into improving slowly my doll. I know this is going to sound so cheesy. It's the capacity that you have to keep trying to improve your doll's possibility and all of that. So yeah, definitely being surrounded by other people's dolls, I feel like it's such an energizer and a motivator that sometimes we as small artists need. Definitely.
What about like I know you make wigs and you've made most of my dolls' wigs, to be honest. I think you know that at this point. You pretty much make you're my exclusive wig maker.
I love that. Can you say it again?
Hopeful Creation is my exclusive wig maker. You can sound bite that and use it for an ad. I don't know. There you go.
Exactly.
But it's very like you make your own wigs. So when you first started collecting, were you making wigs? I don't know if I was around or we were friends then. But also, like, is there anything that you make for your dolls now that you didn't before? Like, what are you buying versus what are you, like, making yourself these days?
So I feel like even though I'm a really creative person, I'm really pretty much a crafter. Except for wigs and the little I know about sculpting or resculpting, I have not digged myself into anything else. I've tried eyes, are not as good as the ones, for example, my friend Aida makes. I've tried clothes. I end up using the clothes that you give me or any other or my friends. So it's like, for me personally, it's like stick to what you know. You already have so much. Like,
I think for me, about like what I buy versus what I make, like for me it's that I like to make clothes and stuff so I can like have different styles. But even more so, I think I look at like artists like I don't know, we'll say Pigeon, for example. It's the one that springs to mind. Where they make the doll, but then they also, I don't know if they make their eyes, but I know that they, like, make their wigs. They make their dolls' clothes. And it's always been, like, my motivation to be able to basically make full sets. Like, make the whole doll. I've not gotten to where, like, my wigs are very good yet for big dolls, but, I do, like, when I started, I bought everything. I bought eyes. I used to buy a lot of glass eyes from Etsy or Alice's collection. I I like get my wigs from you, still. I have for a long time. Actually, I used to get the synthetic fiber ones a lot, and you would always be like, no, don't do it. I mean, they don't look as nice, first of all, but like,
I mean, every time I see you using a synthetic wig, it's like, oh, oh.
Stab to the
But
heart.
I understand it. I understand that some synthetic wigs look really cute.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I definitely prefer the viscose ones, but sometimes it doesn't go with I don't have, like, the perfect one that fits the specific doll for the specific outfit, so it's like, okay, I got the synthetic one. I'll put that on.
I also understand that synthetic wigs are easier to style.
Yeah, but they don't look...
So,
to me, they don't look as, like, natural. You know what I mean? On the doll.
Thank you.
Well. But, I make a lot of my own clothes now, but again, I used to buy them. I used to buy all of my shoes, and now I'm at about 50-50. I do make shoes, and they're not good yet. They're not good. But, like, we'll continue working at it, and I don't know. I think, like, this is me rambling now. I think in part, too, it's that I want to be able to do the whole doll, but it's also that there's this saying in English, jack of all trades, master of one. But it's usually said as an insult to, like, people who, like, spread themselves out and do too much. But there's actually, like, more to that saying. It's like, jack of all trades is a master of none, but always better than a master of one.
Exactly.
Because it's like, you can be I'll probably never be the most amazing sculptor in the world. Like, I'm never going to, like, crack out, like, the statue of David. I don't know, but, like, probably not.
Yeah, I absolutely understand what you mean with that. Yeah.
But, I like to do a bit of everything, and maybe it's the ADHD, maybe it's the, I just like to try things, maybe. But this, like, doll making is so, like, there's so much possibility for so many different skills and so many different, like, micro hobbies within the hobby. And that's what's, like, really made me fall in love with dolls as a whole. And that's probably why I make so much of my own stuff now. You know?
Yeah, I see.
So, how, like, we've kind of talked about how our styles... Actually, let's pause for a minute, because
okay.
We do want to be able to do, like, this podcast live over on TikTok. However, we do need Pablo to have more followers and subscribers. I think it's followers over on TikTok, but...
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, but once he gets the right amount, we can be doing this over on TikTok and hanging out there. So, like, if anybody here hasn't checked out Pablo's TikTok or my TikTok, they are linked from our pages, from our Instagrams, and for the YouTube people, this will be linked in my description, so that will be there.
I mean, I only need a couple more followers, so please follow me.
I mean, you can follow me too while you're at it. I mean,
of course.
just for the fun of it. Like you sort of touched on there, Pablo, we have kind of talked about a lot of collection changes. I think one thing we didn't really mention is when you first started collecting, what were you into, like, resin tones wise, or like style of doll wise?
I think when I started, I fell in love with minifees, like most people. Like, minifee glowy was a must for a lot of people, including myself. But I thought there was just one skin tone that you could pick. I remember having a lot of discussions with a lot of friends about resin tones, and then telling me, like, this has been a discussion for over the years that we are so tired about, like, you know, like...
Yeah.
But yeah, minifee specifically, or Unoa, I remember
your
the Unoa. But there was not much out there. In the Spanish, remember that for me, I became somehow international a couple of years back. At first, it was just in the Spanish thing, and the Spanish thing was and is so small that I didn't have anyone to check their collection or anything like that.
That's fair. Yeah. I I didn't really have mini fees. I had a couple. I had actually I've had quite a few now. I think I've had like 4 different mini fees, but I don't really connect with them, and it's because I found that the dolls I really connect with are the dolls that are kind of like me and not that look like me. But in the like weird little friends is what I call the category of dolls I make and the category of dolls that I like to collect. So,
Yeah.
like, I love your dolls. They're very, like, fantasy, like, stylized, basically, and fantasy tones. So, I have, like, in my collection right now, I have some of your dolls, but I also have, like, some Ace of dolls. I have, like I said, Quartz Star. I've got some Glow Moon dolls. I've got some DX Girly Designs. I have a Butterberry Estelle, and she's so cute. Like that's the kind of doll that I'm really attracted to. And if I can, I usually will pick a fantasy color. Occasionally, I'll get a tan. I do really like tan as well.
I'm actually having like a lot of trouble trying to pick a new doll from your pre-order. I like the color, cause like I tend to pick all fantasy colors for your dolls. But I really like I really like the darkest tan or brown you have. So, but definitely I think I used to be someone that just picked natural colors. And for the longest time, I just had white dolls. Then I had like a phase. I was like, let me get rid of all the white dolls. I'm so tired of this. Like, I want to have what I want to see. I think that's been always my memo in this hobby. And now I'm trying to slowly introduce myself into fantasy colors with your dolls and stuff. So, maybe next time it's clear dolls.
Ooh.
Who knows?
Clear dolls are cute. I'm just like, I'm never quite sure. I like the semi-transparents because I feel like I can see their face better to give them like expressions and paint them. But I think for like any kind of like object head type doll or like things like aliens or stuff like that, I think the clear resins are very cool. I'm very into that. I'm only going to collect this type of doll, and all the dolls should look good together. When I first started collecting, it was really important to me that all my collection dolls looked like they belonged in the same universe. And I would, on purpose, not buy dolls that I thought were weird, and weird is a compliment, but I remember I got my first Frapzilla doll, and I was like, oh, her head's too small compared to my other dolls, even though the doll itself is very cute. And it's like I didn't want her because she didn't fit aesthetically with the other dolls. The collection I have now makes 0 sense together. Like, they are not from the same universe, and I think there's some beauty in that. And, like, it doesn't all have to look like it's from the same place, because to me, for myself, that's boring now. Like, I'm not writing a story with them all together. Like, they don't have to make sense together. I love them for the individual art pieces that they are. You know?
Yeah. So, personally, I feel like something very similar happened to me. I used to be very close-minded. Well, close-minded when it comes to what I collected. And I think that was blocking my creativity. So, definitely, I still do something similar when it comes to, for example, if I give this example because you are right in front of me. If I give Teeny Tinker's dolls, I want them to be seen as a family.
Yes.
As like, different. They all have different skin tones, but they all look similar in a way. Maybe I do that with the actual artist itself, but it's also real that I've tried to collect different sizes, with different eyes, different colors, different wigs. I used to have like a really big problem when it became about having a collection with different wig types. Like, I couldn't have a doll with a synthetic wig and another one with alpaca.
Fair.
That was a no.
So all your dolls have viscose wigs now, then? Yeah. That's fine. I mean, like, they're great wigs. You can also sound like that and put that into a commercial.
I'm going to end up doing a TikTok of you
saying nice things. Oh my god, it's just like a sponsored TikTok. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're going to have to add the ad situation under the TikTok just in case we get like
yeah, when they call it out. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like there's definitely like that was like the big change I think for me, but on the what we're expecting from the future and on what I keep interrupting myself but saying about how we should or I would set like dolly resolutions. Like I'm only going to collect this many, I'm only going to have this type of doll. And that's really like for me as much as I don't maintain what I say I'm going to do as far as collection, what right now if you were going to say like okay, this is what I think I'm going to do in the future. Like, what do you think that is, like, for you?
So personally, I'm definitely not going to be able to buy many more dolls. So I'm definitely going to try to be really picky into what I collect into. I'm definitely getting just friends dolls. And that's it. That like. I'm sorry, I cannot afford getting a random person dolls because, like, as we talk about, we're looking for something different than what we used to look for in the beginning. So I'm looking to get more Teeny Tinker dolls. I'm looking to get more Pow. I think it's Pow Nelly dolls.
Padoodle Pie.
More exact. Basically more DX girly. So those are the kind of dolls that I'm trying to look for, and I think those are also dolls that look well together with my own dolls. So
Yeah, same kind of boat here. I actually am selling off a fair amount of my collection that doesn't fit my current criteria for what I want, and going forward, I do only really plan on collecting like friends dolls or like I said small artists. And when I say like small artists, I mean like a lot of times the ones that pop up like in like the small artist discords or like on Instagram where they've got like 500 1,000 followers. It's their first doll. And I have a super soft spot for anybody who reaches out to me and says like they used my videos to help them sculpt their first doll. I'm like, oh, now I must support you. Like in a good way, not like a how dare you guilt me, like in a I'm so touched, let me support you. Like I'm a sucker for that. So like in the future, I do know I have a couple dolls coming. Like I have a Vivi's Dolls Prim. It's a really small artist. It's her first doll. And we did a trade. So a lot of times this is also how I grow my collection is these smaller artists I will like offer or they will ask if we can like do a doll exchange. And I like to grow my collection that way. And that way it's very like artist supporting artists, which I'm really, really, really big on. So like it benefits everybody. Everybody gets a new doll. So I plan on growing my collection that way as well. And then, like I said, anytime somebody reaches out and says like, well, if I like, assuming I like the doll, if somebody whose doll I like reaches out to me and says like, hey, I have this doll, could I send it to you and like you like dress it up or do like a custom video or something for it? If I like the doll, I'm gonna say yes. So like and then I have like an emotional attachment to those dolls because now there's like a memory and it was like somebody like who trusted me to like bring their doll to life. You know what I mean? Like it like gets me in the heart. And Yeah, I guess like kind of same as you. Like the doll has to kind of like stab me in the heart in some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Exactly. Because I feel like, for me personally, at the end of the day, I don't like. This is going to sound so rude, but like it's not going that way. I don't care how good your doll poses. I cannot. It's not like I don't care how it looks. Like there's many beautiful dolls in the world. Um, I'm not looking for the most beautiful doll. I'm looking for the doll I connect the most, the doll that speaks the most to me, the doll that was made by the artist that is trying to make an effort into changing things or doing something different or like or I like the artists overall and what they speak about. Like feel like I know there's a lot of people that can separate artists from artistry. Like okay, but for me, I cannot
I
do
have the
that.
same problem. I feel like we should delve into that in the future episode. I feel like that would be art versus artist.
Yeah.
But because I think we have similar views on that, it might be cool to see if somebody who has opposing views wants to pop on and do that with us. That would be cool. But I'm very similar boat. It's also like I said, like you said, sorry. It's not the most conventionally beautiful doll because I'm uninspired by conventional beauty in the way that like a minifee is beautiful.
Yeah, we have seen many minifigs
Yeah.
in the wild. We've seen many cooler type dolls in the wild. We've seen many dust of doll type dolls in the wild. We're so tired of that.
I would argue that like Dust of Dolls are unique. They're just I think that they're almost the outlier or one of the outliers in weird little friend dolls, like unconventionally attractive dolls that are also commercially popular. I think they're like an outlier because I do like Dust of Dolls. Can I make them stand without swaying? But it's not. I like them, but it's the. I want dolls, and I want to collect dolls from artists who inspire me by thinking outside the box, by trying something new, by being the first one to make this kind of doll, or not even necessarily the first one, but like innovate on something, trying some like that's what inspires me is this is really cool. I haven't seen this before, or I've never seen it this way. I don't like seeing the same doll over and over, or the same. What's that phrase? It's like the same person in a different font. I don't need to see the same doll in a different font.
Exactly. No shame to the people that make that, of course. Please.
No, this is all about like our personal tastes and why we collect. And also, I think it's important to note that like the inspiration or the motivations for Pablo and I to collect dolls is going to probably be really different from the motivations and inspirations of a doll, like an exclusively doll collector and not somebody who's necessarily making their own dolls. I think we have a different lens on this because, like we said, like when we look at dolls, we see them as like an emotional connection or inspiration. But when we both started, we both collected dolls in the way that we collected things like we wanted to play with them, we wanted to photograph them, we wanted to give them stories. And that probably is more on par for most doll collectors, you know?
Exactly, and as I said before, with time, I don't want to say you get more mature because I don't think
that's a maturity thing. I think it's a motivation.
But you start to know what you like and what you don't.
Your personal taste evolves. And that doesn't mean that if you like minifees, you're unevolved. You have evolved into liking minifees. No.
Absolutely not.
It's finding what speaks to you, and that's part of the reason I never liked that phrase revolving door collector, because like if you're gonna buy something, a lot of the times the doll in the photo is so different from the doll in your hand, and they hit you in a different way and connect with you in a different way. And I've had many dolls come in through my doors who I thought I was going to be smitten with, who I didn't love as much as I thought. And I've had other ones come in where I was kind of like, I'll try this out. And they've been some of my very favorite dolls. It takes that kind of like doll in, doll out for a lot of people to figure out what they like.
Exactly. We need to understand that everybody can get a doll and sell it right away because they don't feel it. At the end of the day, there's a bonding there, even though there's a lot of people that seem to not understand it. There's some sort of bonding that you have to have with, like, if it was your child.
Again, I think that's feeding into the motivations for collecting, because I need to bond with a doll because I need this emotional connection, or I would have 10 million dolls. It would be unruly.
Exactly.
But some people's motivation for collecting is going to be like the same way people collect rare Pokemon cards. They want the most rare one. They want the coolest collection, and that's fine too. But like,
yeah,
that's part of that. Figuring out your motivation really helps you figure out what dolls you like. Maybe there's not even. Some people I know collect and they are like some small artists. We've got some company doll. We've got like a dust of doll. We've got like this super rare one from like 2002 where the company went under and there's only 5 of them in the world and it's like worth $30,000. Like, people can have like all kinds of things, and it can even just be as simple as I like what I like. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, do you have anything else to add on the topic?
I think first of all, we have a list of things we wanted to say, and we talk about everything. So
I think we're good.
Fine here.
I think, we're sitting at like almost an hour. This is going to be really fun for you to edit, Pablo.
57
so,
minutes.
I guess like we can wrap it up by saying,
go follow our other socials.
Yeah, but I think we need a tail end piece. That's like kind of. Did I just say a tail end piece without meaning to? I might have. I think that might have been a. I think it was a closing argument.
Listen, I think your final monologue was like the Barbie one. It was like perfect for the, like.
America Fiera, who?
You know what I mean? I think. So as you all know, this is our first episode of our podcast. If you want to follow us on any of our socials, it will be linked on the description. If you want to propose us any kind of theme that you want us to talk about, you can leave that in the comments and we will look for it, and we probably will use it, because even though we have a selected number of themes, it's fine to have more people.
Absolutely, and a lot of times comments might even, like ideas might even fit into a category we already want to talk about, or a topic we already want to talk about, either kind of like adjacently or directly. So we want to talk about what you guys want to hear about, and it doesn't have to just be ball jointed dolls either. We can talk about like playline dolls or art figurines or whatever. Like, this is a doll podcast, not necessarily just a ball jointed doll. Even though like the world of playline dolls is a little new to me, I would love to explore it and check it out. That might just be a whole different kind of lens to check that out through, though. All right, well, thank you for watching. Again, I'm Rosie. And this was episode 1 of Unhinged, a Dolly podcast. If you're already subscribed, thanks so much for subscribing. If you're new here, I hope you like the content and consider subscribing. There will be more. As always, I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.